Hey everybody. I want to share, it is 3:07. I want to share some dreams God gave to me. It is Saturday, April 18th. And I was shown not that long ago a girl in a cloak. And it was a big, massive, oversized hooded cloak. And it just hung all the way down around her legs, and the hood was just oversized and massive, and it came over her face. She put her head down, it come over her face, it covered everything, right? And I was shown and the first time I saw this girl, she was kneeling in front of an altar, and the cloak came around her everywhere, and it was dark inside. And there were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, maybe even 1,000 candles, all different sizes, with like different ornate objects in between, like in front of or behind the candles. And she was kneeling in before at an altar, like it has different, like a few steps, and then a wide open space, and the candles lit up everything, and she was cloaked, and she had her head down. And the next time I had a dream about this girl was recently, and she was wandering through an orchard, and she was going down a path, and I could see her just wandering through orchards, and the trees had fruit on them. It was like an almond orchard or a walnut orchard. And probably an almond. It looked more like almond. But she was wandering through there with her cloak on, and she was looking around and looking up in the sky saying, "Mommy, where are you? Mommy." And she was lost. And number one, in each of these dreams, she was alone. Number two, in each of these dreams, she was sad. Number three, in each of these dreams, she was cloaked. And it's like nobody could see her, hear her. She wanted her mommy. Okay, so let's focus on the cloaked part. The interpretation of this dream is that this girl is cloaked. You can't see her feet, you can't see her face, you can't see her arms, her hands, her hair, nothing about her, okay? And she's alone, okay? She's cloaked, meaning nobody can see her. Nobody, she's alone. Nobody can rescue her. There's many definitions to the word cloaked, okay? All right, so the definition of cloaked means covered, hidden, or disguised, often to conceal true identity or purpose. It describes something shrouded in secrecy, such as cloaked in mystery, scenario, or a figure physically wearing a cape. Synonyms include unveiled, camouflaged, masked, and concealed. So a physical covering, a cloak figure slipped through the moonlit courtyard. Secrecy. The report was cloaked in confusing technical jargon. Environmental. The mountain was cloaked in mist. In technology, the ship was cloaked to avoid direction. Okay. Concealed, hidden, clandestine, surreptitious, undercover, mantled, wrapped, or robed. This is what this little girl was in this cloak, okay? The way God showed me, it was just oversized. In secrecy, the report was cloaked in confusing technical jargon. Okay? So God showed me that this little girl wandered around, and she was in a massive cloak, and she was saying, "Mommy, where are you? Where's my mommy? Where's my mommy?" Number 5, she was alone. She was cloaked. She was alone going down in an orchard full of trees. And there's another interpretation of these trees, okay? The interpretation of the trees is that if you've ever heard of the rod of Aaron, a lot of people say it was an almond rod, and like a shepherd's nook, okay? But these trees were all fruited. They were all blossoming. They were all green, and she's there by herself. In Scripture, we're likened to trees, and this little girl is going down in a cloak. And she's right in the middle of all these trees, going down rows and 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 rows of an orchard of trees. And she's saying, "Mommy, where are you? Mommy, where are you?" And she's cloaked. So number one, her mommy can't see her. Number two, all these people were likened to trees in Scripture, can't see her. She's hidden in secrecy. And the report was cloaked in confusing technical jargon. And she's crying out for her mommy. The second interpretation of the dream is this. She's kneeling in front of an altar. She's cloaked. A cloaked figure slipped a physical covering. A cloaked figure slipped through the moonlit courtyard. The report was cloaked in confusing technical jargon. That's secrecy. That's the interpretation of a cloak, okay? The mountain was cloaked in mist. The ship was cloaked to avoid detection. And this is what this little girl was dressed in, saying, "Mommy, where are you?" Going through all the trees that are people. Where the Scripture likens us to trees. And so she's traveling down these corridors through this orchard of all these rows of people, saying, "Mommy, where are you? Help me, help me. Mommy, where are you?" And in many dreams before, she has said, "Help me." This minor. And so she's kneeling before an altar with hundreds and hundreds, maybe 1,000 candles. And, we are likened to candles in Scripture as well. Our countenance, our attitude, God says, who puts a candle under a bushel? That's us. We're lit. We're lit like candles. We let our light shine before men, okay? And this little girl is cloaked. And all these candles are lighting up this room. They're giving light off, right? And this little girl is bowing before them, cloaked. And she is like, please. Maybe she's praying to God, maybe she's praying to somebody, but all these candles, and there's some like statuettes and adornments and things in between them, right? That are reflecting this light from these candles. These candles haven't burnt out. These candles are glowing. We're letting our light shine before men, and we're all up there, and she's cloaked, and she's bowing down before all these candles, and she's sad, and she's in secret. The report was cloaked in confusing technical jargon. The mountain was cloaked in mist. The ship was cloaked to avoid detection. A cloaked figure slipped through the moonlit courtyard. And so God's showing me this girl is like that. She's wandering through masses, acres and acres and acres of trees, of people, saying, "Mommy, where are you?" And then she's cloaked, so Mommy can't see her, and neither can the trees, right? Mommy can't see her, she's cloaked, and neither can the candles giving off their light before men, letting their light shine before men. No one sticks a candle under a bushel. You know what a bushel is? It's a dry something. You stick your candle under a bushel and it burns stuff up. No, these were bright, covering, lighting up an altar before God and before one another. And nobody could see this little girl. Nobody could see her, and she was sad and alone. Every time this little girl is alone. And why can't these candles in these trees see this little girl as she's saying, "Help me," or "Mommy, where are you?" Why can't the trees and the candles see the little girl that's cloaked in secrecy with a physical covering? She's concealed, hidden, masked, veiled, shrouded, camouflage, covered, clandestine, undercover, mantled, wrapped, robed. Even the report was cloaked in confusing technical jargon. So what's going on here? What is God trying to reveal in this dream? We take a closer look at the interpretation of these two dreams. And there was no mimics. There was no mimics in this dream. In these two dreams, there was no mimics. None of those candles looked the same, nor were they all straight the same, nor were they all standing and placed the same, nor were all their flames burning the same, nor were all the trees growing the same, nor were all the trees fruiting the same, nor did all the trees have the same sort of structure of branches the same. There was none of that going on in this dream. God doesn't create things like that. And he doesn't create children to be wandering around cloaked and masked alone.